Hello everyone, welcome to Jolly Molly TV. Today we're going to do another fun block in Kimberbell's Pumpkins and Potions ladder quilt project. In today's video we're going to work on this block right here, which is going to be called candle number 2. So go ahead and grab your plastic pouch or bag system that you've labeled candle number 2, and let's head over to the machine and let's get started stitching. Okay, we're at the machine. I have a bobbin with white thread down below, and I'm using my 5x7 hoop for this block, and I have a piece of the poly no-show mesh stabilizer in it. Let's go to the screen cam and let's load the design. I have a Baby Lock Destiny, which is identical to the Brother Dream machine. If you have something similar, you can follow along. I'm going to go to Embroidery. I'm going to go to my flash drive because that's where I keep all my files, and I'm going to go to Pumpkins and Potions. The first thing I'm going to click on is the quilting designs because we need to load that first. And we're doing candle number 2, so I'm looking for Halloween 10, which should be the spider web quilting design, and it is. So I'm looking for a 4x6 design, this one right here. 4x6. That's the one I want. I click set. You don't have to do anything to it. Now I'm going to click add. I'm going to add the machine embroidery design. Now if your machine can't do this, no worries. You're going to stitch out the quilting design, clear your memory, and then load the embroidery design and then stitch that out. Alright, so I'm going to go back to my flash drive, back to Pumpkins and Potions, and I'm looking for candle number 2, which is this one right here with the flame kind of angled a little bit toward the right. That's the one we want to do. I'm going to click set. It brings it in perfectly centered. I don't have to do anything else to it, and I'm going to click embroidery. Okay, so now let's go back to the hoop cam, and now I'm going to get my plastic pouch system out that I have labeled candle 2, and I want you to do the same. Then I want you to pull out the fabrics that are associated with this. Okay, so this is going to be my background fabric. This is kind of like the Haunted Mansion style wallpaper. I love that. And then I have white for the top of the little candle. And then I have something really cool, which I can't wait to show you. Alright, and if you've watched any of the other videos in this series, you know that I like glitter a lot. So I've decided for the main candle fabric in this block, with this as the background, I am going to use a purple embroidery vinyl. This is embroidery vinyl because it has a mesh type of a back, almost like a fusible, that's attached to the back that makes it soft and flexible like fabric. It's a little bit thicker than your normal fabric, but it will hold up to, say, satin stitches or intense stitches without falling apart. If you were to use a heat transfer vinyl in this stage of the game where it does the candle outline and satin stitches, and a heat transfer vinyl will fall apart. I tested it. Anything to do with satin stitches, it's too intense of a stitch for heat transfer vinyl, and it will perforate and literally fall apart. But embroidery vinyl will not, because it mimics fabric. It does not have a clear plastic coating on the top like heat transfer vinyl does, so you can stitch it down right where it is, trim it up, and treat it like fabric. So this is my surprise for this video, is I'm going to use this purple glitter embroidery vinyl. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside. With that in mind, I'm going to take a look at my background fabric and say, alright, I need to put black thread up on top because I want to stitch this first several stitches in black, and I will also quilt this in black. I want the wallpaper to stand out, and I want the candle to stand out. So I want the quilting to kind of be there, but be in the background. All right. So I'm going to put black thread up on the top of my machine. You choose what color thread you need to put in the top of your machine. That will blend and coordinate either with your fabric, or if you want it to stand out, then you can do that too. It all depends on what your background fabric is as to how busy that you'll want that to be. Okay, so I've got a loop. I want to get that loop out. Then I also want to grab a pre-cut piece of batting that I did in the first video, which is a 5 by 7 inch size of batting. And then I'm going to put that aside for just a few minutes. All right, so now we're ready to go. The hoop is on. Everything's good to go. Let's put the foot down and stitch out the placement line for the batting. Here we go. Okay, now I'm going to put my batting down, making sure that I cover that placement line on all sides. Hold it down with my stylus, put the foot down, still leave the same color thread up on top, and let's tack down the batting. Here we go. Okay, now I want you to take the hoop off the machine, take this over to the table, and I need you to trim away all of the excess batting from all 4 sides of that stitch line, and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, that's all trimmed up. So now I'm going to put the foot down, leave the same color thread up on top, and let's stitch out the placement line for the fabric. Okay, so now we're going to put the background fabric down, and if you have directional fabric, make sure this is your top and this is your bottom. Mine's really not directional, it's damask, so I can kind of do it either top or bottom, whichever way I happen to like, so I just picked one. I'm going to feel for the batting, make sure that I am technically as centered as I need to be and I'm totally covered. So let's put the foot down, same color thread still up on top, mine is black, and let's tack down this fabric. I just want to say a huge thank you to Kimberbell for sponsoring me in this project and for providing the Pumpkins and Potions quilting bundle for me to use in this project. This quilting bundle is amazing. It is definitely something that you can look at in order to enhance this project. It comes with all of these amazing designs. You get a cauldron, you get a spider web, some happy ghosts that look like they have little glasses on. This border is amazing. I cannot wait to show you the borders. And you get this cool pumpkin and ghost and 31 on there. It's just a bunch of fun. So if you're able to get this quilting bundle, it's going to just make your project pop. The borders, I cannot wait. Look at these borders. There's 2 of them, and I'm going to try to incorporate both of them in this project. You get enough files in each of the designs to be able to do any combination of size that you could possibly think of for this project and our other projects. And you also get the block tile sizes for the clear blue tiles quilting method as well in each of the designs. So I highly recommend if you can do this. This is amazing. Please use the link in the description below to purchase the bundle from Kimberbell.com. Okay, this will be nice. I'm going to go ahead and put the foot down and stitch out the quilting. Same color thread for me up on top because I want it to blend in. It's a 2-minute in real life stitch out. Here we go. Enjoy. Okay, that's nice and subtle background quilting. I like that. Okay, so now I'm going to switch the color thread out on the top of my machine from black, and I'm going to switch it to white because my top of my candle, the wax part, is going to be white while my candle is going to be the purple. So we're going to stitch out the placement line for the top of the candle. So I need that to, on my block, to be white. So pick the color that's going to match the fabric you're using for the top of your candle. Put that thread in the top of your machine, and let's stitch this placement line out. Oops. Get that loop out so it doesn't wrap around your needle, break your needle, or your foot. All right, here we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to literally place this on top. This is my white top on my candle fabric. Make sure I cover that placement line, put the foot down, leave white thread up on top, and let's tack down this fabric. Okay, so now I want you to take the hoop gently off the machine, take this over to a table, and I want you to trim away the excess fabric from all sides around that stitch line. I'll meet you right back here. Okay, so now we're going to do a placement line for the candle, and because I'm using this embroidery vinyl that's purple, I need a thread that will match or coordinate with this purple. And I use the purple threads I have. Neither of them are an exact match. So what I'm thinking about doing is coordinating with the rest of the fabric that's purple in my project here. So if I pull out all of my jelly rolls, which of these threads coordinates the best with these other fabrics? And I think this one. So it's going to be a coordinating purple. It'll match here. It'll give a contrast on top of here, so it's not matchy-matchy, but then this thread is going to blend in with the other fabrics in the collection. So I think that one is the one. And that's not the one you would normally think. I was actually going to go for this one, which kind of blends in this one, but it's too bright for this one. And this one's more of a royal, blends in with the purples on the fabric, but not this one. So you have to actually test drive your threads with your fabrics to kind of see what is going to go the best with that project. And it may not be a matchy-matchy to the fabric you're going to use. It's where we coordinate those threads. Okay, so I'm going to put this color thread in the top of my machine so that I can stitch out the next couple stitches. The first one being the placement line for the candle. Okay, and so you need to do the same process with your thread selection against your candle fabric and pick something that is going to work well with your fabrics. All right, so let's put the foot down and stitch out the placement line for the candle. Okay, using the same technique as I would for a piece of fabric, I'm going to lay down this embroidery vinyl and make sure I have it covered in all the places. Then I'm just going to put the foot down. Try not to move, and I'll keep the roll above the hoop so nothing can get in its way. And let's tack down this vinyl. I know it's silly that I don't pre-cut my embellishments, but I just try to maximize the amount I can use out of a roll. So it's just my little quirky way. All right, so now I'm going to take this over to a table, and I need you to trim away the excess vinyl from around the outside of that stitch line, and I'll meet you right back here. Woohoo! This is going to be so cool. All right, so I'm going to leave that purple thread in the top of my machine, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch out. I need to reload my needle. It's almost out. I'm going to stitch out the next stitch, which is a 4-minute stitch out of the satin stitches around this candle. All right, so let's do it. This is going to be fun. Same color thread up on top, and let's stitch it out. Isn't that cool how those two colors play with each other? I love the way that came out. Okay, see, you just gotta try something. You never know until you try. All right, so to put a couple colors together that you think will work, that'll blend in with the rest of your fabric collection, and watch the magic that happens. I love it. Okay, so now I'm gonna put white thread in the top of my machine because we're gonna stitch out the next stitch, which is kind of like an accent around this white fabric here, and some melting wax. So I'm going to stick with the white. I think that'll look good since the top of my candle is white. All right, so put white thread or the color thread of your choice for your wax on the top of your machine. This is a 1-minute stitch out. You ready? Let's do it. All right, we are getting so good at doing this. Don't you love it? All right, so now we need to stitch the candle wick. So I'm going to take the white thread off the top of my machine, and I'm going to put black thread in there because we want a black candle wick. So put black thread on top of your machine, and let's stitch this out. This is only a 1-minute in real life stitch out. You ready? And make sure I don't have a loop. Okay, we're good. Stitch it out. Okay, so now take the black off and out of my machine. Now we're going to stitch the placement line for the outer fabric. Get that little thread there. Okay, and my outer flame fabric is gold. So I want to put a gold thread up above to match. So you may have a yellow thread, you may have a lighter gold, darker gold thread, whichever thread that would blend with your fabric. Go ahead and put that in the top of your machine. This is an easy 1-minute stitch out. I just have to do my thread Olympics to get my thread behind the machine. Yep, we got it. When they're a large spool, you have to put it in a thread stand behind your machine. And sometimes it's a challenge to reach it, but we did it. All right, so now let's put the foot down and let's stitch out the placement line for the outer flame fabric. Okay, let's get that thread out of there. Now I'm going to place my outer flame thread down right on top of it. Make sure that it is covering all of that placement line. And let's put the foot down and hold it down with a stylus. Let's tack down this fabric. Okay, now I'm going to take the hoop gently off the machine. I want you to take it over to the table, and I want you to trim away all the excess fabric from around that stitch line. I'll meet you right back here. Okay, so that's trimmed up. I'm going to leave my gold thread up above, and I'm going to stitch now the decorative accent around the outside of that flame. Here we go. Nice. Okay, so now I want to take the gold thread out of my machine, and I want to put black thread back in on top. You never knew machine embroidery was a workout, did you? Yeah. It's like quilting is also a workout. All right, so we got the black thread up above. Now you get to go to your embellishment kit and pull out a piece of this yellow tinted glitter clear vinyl. Just like we did in the last video, we're going to put this down to cover the flame, and then it's going to stitch a outline or border around it and then fill it in with black fill stitch. So you can see I don't pre-cut my embellishments. This was the last video, so now I'm turning it so I can maximize and get a second piece right next to it. Okay, so put it back on your machine. You can tape it down if you like, or do like I do and just hold it in place. Just keep your fingers away from the moving needle. All right, so let's tack down this vinyl. Cool. Okay, now the machine still shows us as one stitch left, but we don't stitch that stitch. It's just like a straight line up here that Kimberbell uses to center the design where they want it to be in the block. So you do not stitch out this last stitch, okay? My vinyl moved just a smidgen, but it's right on that stitch line, so we're perfect. So now all you gotta do is go to your table, and I want you to trim away the excess vinyl from around that black stitch line. This is raw edge applique, so you don't want to nick those stitches. There's not going to be any more stitches on this block. You just want to cut cleanly and closely as you can without nicking those stitches. I'll meet you right back here. Isn't that cool? I love the way that turned out. I got one little thread up here I can trim. There we go. That's awesome. All right, so now we're done stitching with this block. Let's take it over the table and I'll show you how to finish it up. All right, I love this candle block. I love the difference of the purple colors, how it just makes that candle really look three-dimensional. It's really cool. So I am happy with that. So the last thing I have to do is measure and cut this block up. It's going to measure 6.5 by 4.5. Okay, so I'm going to look at my outer stitch line, which is a little hard to see on the black, but you want to look for the outer stitch line, and let's measure to make sure those are accurate. Yep, from this outer stitch line to this one is 4.5, and from the top to the bottom is just a hair under 6.5. So that's what we're going to use to trim up this block. So I'm going to turn the block to the side to begin with. And the black is going to be really hard to see, and it is not a straight stitch line. So I'm going to adapt. I can see the quilting on this side is closer than it is over here. So I'm going to use this side as my lining up tool, and I'm going to put this part of my ruler, this line, on this stitch line, and that will help me center that up. Can I see the stitch line? Yes, it's just under the ruler up here and it's outside the ruler up here, but I'm going to use this part to make my cut. Okay, because sometimes the outer stitch lines are perfectly straight and sometimes they're not, but we're okay because we can adapt. We know this is straight now. Now I'm going to come here. Let's go down to 16, so I'm going to go down to 10.5 on my mat. My mat's reversed at the moment, so I can wear down this part of my mat. So I have to subtract. So I've got 16, we're lined up. Can I see that stitch line? Yes, I can. It's dark, but I can still see it. So that is the right place to cut. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here. And all we have to do is trim those two sides up. So let's take a look at this stitch line. That one looks fairly straight. I'm going to use my ruler, use my line down here with the fabric so I know that's straight. And I'm going to go just past the stitch line. Can I see the stitch line? Yes, I can. So we're good to cut. One more over here. All right, we're going to do that. So 15, we're going to go to 11.5 on the mat. Use a line on your ruler on the fabric edge that you know is straight. Line it up with your mat, and then you say, can I see that stitch line? Yes, it's just underneath the ruler. So that is good to cut. And now you have just finished a really fun candle block, candle number 2. Yay! Congratulations. Isn't that cool? So I hope you had as much fun today making this cool candle block as I did. And I hope you stay tuned here on Jolly Molly TV for more fun and more blocks in Kimberbell's adorable project, Pumpkins and Potions. And until I see you next time, take care and happy stitching. Bye-bye.